Thank you, everyone. Welcome to the Jamaica Selectboard meeting. Today is Tuesday, May 27th. It is 7:01 p.m. It is a regular meeting of the Select Board. The first item on the agenda is to call for any late additions to the agenda, and I know Greg has a few.
I have a few. One, to make a formal decision on the road sand for next year. Keith has
On the
for the road sand.
road sand.
Purchasing road sand. Keith has some quotes on that. The second is to discussion regarding the construction at the transfer station, proposed extension of the deadline. Third one is a request for a new member for the planning commission.
Mm-hmm.
And fourth one is a discussion for surrounding upcoming bike and pedestrians scoping study. Just on that. With a bike and pedestrian scoping study that there's a grant application.
Oh,
Sidewalk would be potentially part of it. I just want to have that discussion because I'm meeting with Wyndham Regional this week.
awesome. Okay. Anybody else with any late items? No. Thank you. All right. The next order of business is to approve the minutes from the May 12th meeting. I will make a motion that we approve the minutes as circulated from the May 12th regular meeting of the Select Board. Thank you. Any discussion of those minutes? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Terrific. The next is we have GMP back. We have two.
Yes.
Not just one. You brought a band. Okay. Please again introduce yourselves for everyone here for this.
Thank you. Thank you, sir, for getting us on the agenda at such short notice as well. Tim Jones, Green Mountain Power Program Manager, and Carol Weston, the VP of our leadership team. So she's been touring around with me over the last month. I was here on the 28th of April, actually, and promised I'd come back with a formal project request, which we've done. I submitted our agreement template and the maps to Sarah the other day for you to look at. And this morning I was able to meet up with Keith Hazard and ride the project out all the way. So what we're proposing is basically all of Turkey Mountain Road to be undergrounded from Route 30 all the way to the last residence.
Woohoo!
Up there.
Wow.
So,
Okay, that we can stop the meeting right there. Okay.
so that's the plan. That's the nature of the agreement that I put in front of you. It's basically a takeoff of the small project that we did last year where we had those stranded poles in the brook. And that will all come out of there once the line is rebuilt. There will still be some overhead out there, so I just want to just reiterate that what we're proposing to do is to bury the main line in the road, and then we're going to pick up individual services where they lie, so to speak. So if we're going to go by and someone's got a pole that serves overhead wire to it, we'll just basically rise up that pole.
Okay.
And so that'll stay. There's a couple of spots where there's some open water, some culverts, some
Right.
things that we could not cross. And you would see probably
It just goes up and
up
over.
and over 100 foot, 200 foot, whatever it takes to clear that span and get over and then up and down. So main line again, mostly, hopefully 90% or greater protected underground with some overhead remaining to avoid resources and then overhead to customers' homes. So in the event that you had an outage, main line stays on. Folks might experience individual outages on their line taps, but again, that gives us the ability to keep most people on and then focus our efforts on triaging
Individual
outages and so forth. And there's a future state of the program that doesn't exist yet that has a storage component, but first things first, we have a 2-year window to rebuild our main lines, really get ourselves established, get the tracks down. And that way, this other program can dovetail on that or overlay on it and say, okay, well, you've rebuilt it here.
Right.
And now here's how the rest of the script will go in some of these more rural areas. So a story to be told, but first things first, these next couple of construction seasons, really just getting after these big main lines and getting the most customers
Yeah, the hot spots.
squared away.
Right.
Yes, and the hot spots. And we'll also, looking at Pike Falls Road and West Jamaica Road would be 2 projects that we would come back around with probably within the next month.
Greg, anything to add, or Kate?
Just thank you.
So Keith was,
Keith was, yeah, I talked to Keith this morning before you guys went out, but not afterwards, but I don't think he.
okay.
I asked him if I could speak for him and say he was in support, and he said, yes, that's
Yeah,
where his position is, that he's in support. And,
He would have told us if he, yeah. He's not shy. Yeah, he's not shy.
and you guys are addressing
We'll
all
stay
the
in
concerns we have.
Right.
And anything regarding culverts that need to be
Yep,
replaced.
answer all that.
Right.
And repairing it back to the, pro service and everything.
Yeah, we'll
So
ride
do
with
you,
them after
oh.
too. We'll just kind of do that sort of post ride.
say that, I'm sorry.
We'll ride the road again with them after, once the project's
Okay.
done, make sure everyone understands what we did, and that it's,
Where things are.
yeah, all of that.
Although it's so much lower than anything, right? It's so much deeper underground than anything.
It's gonna be 3 foot plus, so anything that we can, anything that's in conflict will either rise up or will take a little bit more depth, so.
Right.
As Carol said, so we're gonna ride out. Our proposal is to be able to start the week of the June 23rd is our hope, to get started. So in advance of that,
Okay.
we would do construction notification letters, so everybody that lives on the road will be notified of the specifics. We'll also let the town know, and again, just a great opportunity at that point to lay everything out. So we'll have our designers come out, station everything out, so everything will be laid out with stakes. Everybody can kind of see what we're after,
See where
and
it's
that's
going.
how, and we will probably start at the top, work our way down, and then also just work with the town. And if and when the time would come, if we needed a full road closure, who are the people that would be impacted by that, how many hours, and just start to work through some of those things. But mostly, we expect to have at least one lane open at all times, and we will have traffic control in tow as well. So, yeah, the road, thread the needle.
It's a wide word, right? So, is there a document we need to sign today?
Yep, I signed it, and I can leave it,
Okay.
and you can review it and sign it.
Well, I think we'll address it,
Okay.
today. So this is in essence a letter to us. It identifies the project that you've just described, including its number. It reaffirms your commitment that everything is returned to its prior condition. That you've worked with the town to identify all of the cabinets, and with our road supervisor, who is Keith Hazard, and that if anything has to be moved, you'll remediate. And at the completion, you'll provide us the as-built. So we have all the, especially for 911 and the fire department, et cetera. And that GMP will perform the work in a manner that's safe for public travel and subject to the rules. So a little bit of what you're touching on, what you just said about, traffic and warning people. And that, I guess in essence that GMP has chosen the spots. Those are the desirable spots. Other spots are not. So where you're moving it from, it's not desirable. And you're asking us our permission. And so I will make a motion that the board approve signing this letter from Green Mountain Power acknowledging the project plan as I've summarized it and as it has been presented to us. Thank you. Okay. Any questions? Any further discussion?
I'll sign it after I read it.
Okay. So I can open up for discussion. Any discussion from the public? Okay. Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you all.
I know that was quick. I thank you for traveling and presenting, because it does make a difference when we can ask questions and
Completely understand. Yeah.
see a human
We
being.
look forward to coming.
Yeah, that's right.
Know about stuff, yeah.
Right? Exactly. You get to see it. Anyway, nice meeting you.
Thank you.
Nice to see you again.
Thank you.
Back in touch.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. So the next order of business is a query has come up with respect to next steps on remediating the oil damage, the persistent and longstanding oil damage in the Port Historical Society building, or the bank building. We've been told we need to submit a claim. Do you wanna talk to it, Sarah?
So this happened before I had anything to do with it, so I was kind of trying to catch up, and Karen probably knows more about it than I do. But basically, there was an oil spill in a historical building, and it was cleaned up. No, it wasn't cleaned up, the tank was taken out.
The tank leaked. The tank is still there. There was cleanup, and the state was involved with the cleanup. An insurance claim was not put in by the town. There is someone who is ready to come in and submitted a bill to the town back a year ago or something like that.
Yeah, Mike was working on it.
To get the cleanup, but he needed the insurance claim in order to.
So there's money to help with this,
Right.
but we're not qualified for the money unless
Until
we've been denied
We have to
the
exhaust,
insurance
we have to
claim.
exhaust
So if
all
we get denied the
avenues.
insurance claim, there is
Right.
other money.
Do you know why Terry might have been reluctant to file a
Terry
claim?
did not like insurance claims, any type form. Like, I know that just from knowing her for so
Right.
long, but I'm sure other people know this as well. I'm sure Paul probably knows that Terry did not like insurance claims. Can
I
you
thought-
second me on this, anyone?
Sure.
I thought we tried to put a claim in.
No,
Not that I'm aware of, I wasn't
No.
involved.
apparently not.
Okay.
I'm not sure why.
Right.
I couldn't remember the reasons, I didn't know what it was. I do know that it was an attempt to clean it up.
Right.
Right.
So basically, it's in you guys' decision if you
Yeah.
want to
That's what we got insurance
open
for.
an insurance.
Right, that's why you pay your premium,
Then
right?
if we get denied, then we can go for this other method of payment, but we
Right.
can't go for that unless
Right.
we've tried
And
to submit.
Look,
for
maybe
it.
we'll actually get some money, but it's not enough, and then, right. So I'm gonna make a motion that we approve submitting a claim with our carrier for cleanup and removal of the tank, ultimate removal of the tank from the historical building. Have a second? Thank you. Any discussion on that? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Great.
Can I ask this one
Yeah.
question? What you intend to replace the tank with? Are you gonna go propane or are you gonna go heat?
We do not have heat in there or AC. Last year we put 2 window units in. We have someone who has offered to help pay for putting a new heating system in, and we're looking at heat pumps.
Okay.
They're splits, they're looking at
And that would give
splits,
us heat
right, and air,
and air.
right.
I guess I remember at the time we were worried about the stability of some of the antiques that we had,
Yes.
absent air and the heat especially.
So we have 2, Coda is giving us an estimate, and Carroll Mechanical
Mm-hmm.
has just given us one. And somebody says they will help
With pay.
But at first, we were just gonna put another oil burner in there.
yes.
Or did I?
So there is an oil burner
Imagine
down in
that,
the
too.
basement,
That was gonna be like the quick fix.
yes.
Just to replace.
So I didn't know all that had
The problem
changed.
is, you can't get a tank down in there,
Right.
and the tank that's down there needs to be cut in half.
Cut in half to be
In order
removed.
to get up, because
Right.
the oil tank and boiler were put in before the addition was added on. So there's no way to get it out,
Yeah,
or to get a
genius.
new one in.
All right, hang on a second.
The person who's offered to help, is it full coverage help or partial help, or we don't know?
I'm not exactly sure.
And we're hoping to get grant money by submitting the claim and either getting only partial coverage or rejected. That puts us in a position to ask for the grant, to be eligible for the grant. So hopefully it would just be the difference, and I guess we could do some fundraising. I mean, otherwise, yeah. Yeah, it would be nice. Heat in that part.
It really
Love that.
would allow us to work in there and have hours that are open to the public other than just May through October.
Right.
I mean, we end up getting quite a few people coming in
Right.
during those months.
Yeah.
But it would be nice to be able to work in there and do things.
At least part of the winter,
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, thank you everyone on that one. The next item of business is just simply to say that our annual audit was finally produced. There are copies here for the board, if you'd like it. Is it up on the website?
I was waiting for you to approve it.
Oh, okay. It's been
So tomorrow.
circulated. So we're, in essence, it is what it is. I don't think it's like a formal approval, right? It's more just, if anybody has any major pushback. There is one finding in there. The audit is comprised, the report is comprised of 3 parts. One of which is a summary of findings with respect to policies and procedures. And in there was what we believe to be a pretty black and white error. The very last observation was that not all of the warrants, so what we sign every meeting to pay the bills, those are a warrant. A warrant is a request from the municipality to pay an amount, and we as the select board sign the warrant so that the payment can be issued. So Sarah is nothing if not meticulous about having us sign a warrant that matches every single payment that goes out. But for some reason, the last observation was that there were a small number of warrants, so payments that went out that did not have a matching warrant. And Sarah is, first of all, she disagrees. It doesn't, we were certainly not told that. So I'm just gonna tell the board, what I'd like to do is write a letter back just so that we have a formal response to say, thank you very much. We take all the input with respect to policies that we need to implement. But with respect to the fact finding, with respect to a missing signed warrant, we disagree. And so that at least it's on the record. But other than that, the main finding, of course, was what we all already know, that we set the rate too high last year, the tax rate. And, we put that on the agenda for the town meeting, and that was resolved, and that's going towards the flood fund. And just in case if, you actually start searching for that, because it's not with respect to the fiscal year that report is reporting on, so you're not gonna see it in that report. You'll see the impact of the approval of the town to allocate the $500,000 or so to the flood recovery fund. You'll see that in the next year's report. So don't beat yourself up trying to find it, because it's not there. It'll be in next year's. So any other major concerns or objections that would prevent us from posting it on the website? I'm not seeing any. So we don't have to approve it, but I think we're all comfortable posting it. So if it's a big document, I've pretty much gone through most of it, but if as you guys, get through it, just, you can raise it with me or directly with Jordan. Okay, the next is also mine, Jamaica Village School. So, just to, I suppose I should have crisped up my thoughts about this, but it's a spidery topic, let's put it that way. So I'll set the stage again. We were asked by the school board in December or late November to schedule a town vote, whether to, quotes, close the school. And we as a board added to that vote a second question, which was, if the school is in fact closed by vote of the town, does the town agree to buy it back for $1, which is our option? And while the first vote was a no to closing the school, the second vote was a yes to buying it back, a pretty resounding yes to buying it back if the school were to be closed. In the interim, there has been a very strong push by Governor Scott, I'm sure everybody's aware of this, to undertake very significant education reform. Vermont's not the only state going through this. It's been made even more likely, I think people feel, due to the change in our federal administration, the change in the White House and the executive branch. and some of the changes that are happening in the Department of Education on a federal level. So, I will say that some folks who are involved in the board, the school board, have had a healthy skepticism as to whether Governor Scott's push would actually result in change. I think that the conventional wisdom now is certainly some change is going to happen, and it's going to be significant. And the district, as we know it today, will not exist in 2029, right? What was the article, the VT Digger article yesterday? That Governor Scott felt the implementation would happen by 2029 at the latest. So that, based on the fact that a majority of the voters definitely felt that if Jamaica Village School will not be a school, a K through 6 school again, or K through 5, or anything other than pre-K, the town wanted to buy back if it was going to close. I'm inclined to ask the school board again to ask us to vote to close the school and then I would add buyback. I'll remind everybody that we had an info session. It was well attended by people in the town. It was also well attended by the school board. But the messaging was, I would say, the feeling that folks had was that there was not a clear message that the school was not going to be a school again. That to vote to close the school was not actually making a tremendous change in the outcome. I don't want to say my view, but one could have a different view about that now in light of the fact that the district is going to go away. And I'm concerned that the citizens of Jamaica be given an opportunity to make that decision for themselves, listen to the school board, listen to what's happening at the state level, look at what's happening at the federal level, make a determination in each person's own mind whether there's a reasonable chance that the school will be a school again. And if they don't, to say, either you think there is a chance, so you vote to keep it open, or you think the chances of it happening are small, so you vote to close, in order to give the town the ability to exercise control over that parcel, as opposed, because pretty soon, or in a number of years, maybe fewer than more, or a few more, but certainly it looks like by 2029, it'll be a different district, it'll be a larger district. I think we all know that. Jamaica's role in that district is going to be smaller. Potentially, we're going to have less of a voice. And if that property is not in the hands of the town, it's in the hands of a school district to do with as they wish. And so that's a very long way of saying my inclination personally is to ask the board to direct us to call a vote again. Some of the concerns that have been raised perfectly validly is, one, there is a pre-K class in there now, and there's definitely a desire to have that continue. So I did suss that out with the superintendent, and at least for now, that's still in the budget for the district as it exists today. And the superintendent, not the board, so this is something I would discuss hopefully, or whoever wants to discuss in front of the board at the next school board meeting, is to say, we're more than happy to continue to host under a lease pre-K, and there are other towns that lease their buildings out for pre-K, and we would do it comparable to that. The superintendent was pretty, he just wanted to be sure that he could continue, that the district could continue to use Jamaica Village School for that purpose for some number of years. Not that many, he wasn't actually asking for that many, like maybe 2. But after that, of course, it's up to the town. We could be utilizing it for whatever purpose that we saw fit, or selling it, if that was our decision.
So
as a town.
in theory, it could be a private school if someone wanted to open it.
Yes, it could. We would, there'd have to be some investment in the building and then licensing, but, could it happen? Of course, and other towns have done it.
But don't you think the state was heading to do something regardless of the federal administration change? Wasn't something, were they going nuts up there trying to figure out where to get all this money from? So I don't know what will happen. It'll be another administration change. Who says that's gonna
Accelerate
happen?
it?
Who says that's gonna happen though? What Governor Scott wants? Was that etched in stone or something?
No.
Aren't they fighting about that as we speak right now? Or are we not fighting about it?
Not right.
Working it out?
They're discussing.
Right.
There's three person trying to keep this thing going, the discussion going.
Well, didn't the House go ahead and go?
There's been a bill has already gone
Yeah. And then
through the
decided to
House
go
and
with the verbiage in the Senate.
it's in committee now.
Yeah.
It's moving. It's moving.
Not very fast.
No.
I thought something, anyway. So what?
Oh, do you mean the proposals?
We need another vote about keeping the school open, is that what you're asking for? We need to ask for that?
So we don't, it's the district.
No, I know.
Has to, basically, the school board has to pass a resolution formally asking the municipality of Jamaica to to warn and notice a vote and have an election.
At the select board's request?
No, at the school board asks the select board to undertake that action. So we can't ask them, they have to ask us.
Is it safe to assume from the public's perspective that we're being asked for another, because the groundswell of confusion in Montpelier is such that what we voted on before is moot? Because we don't know what's going on, and so to give them time to make some sense out of it, is that what we're doing?
I would say there's a lot of new facts.
Yeah.
Since the last vote,
Yeah.
the complexion of the direction of of education and education legislation in this state has dramatically changed.
Yeah. And so we need to.
There's been a material change in
And
circumstances.
so we as the citizens need to re-vote with the new stuff
The new information.
floating in the atmosphere.
Yes.
Exactly. I think that's pretty much a good idea.
Right.
Even if you agree, I mean, not to say you disagree, or any of us disagree, but if we see the movement in a direction with the state, would it not be still in our best, it would be in our best interest to wait to see what comes out, rather than asking the school board to ask us to call a vote now? Would it not be better to wait till at least the end of this legislative term, or to see where this may land when it comes out?
So
We would still.
my personal view is that's not responsible because the legislation can crystallize and pass at any time. And then we might find ourselves in a position where we can't offer the vote to our citizens. To me,
Okay.
it's a vote of the.
Come out that in that.
It's unlikely,
Yeah.
but I can't say that, it's decision of the board. I find that scary, because it's a large parcel right in the village center. It's a prime piece of real estate, and there's a lot of options, and my personal, again, this is just my view. I don't think this is a wait and see situation. I don't.
Yeah.
What if the vote goes to keep it open, to not close the school, then what?
Then we're in the same place we were before.
So aren't we there now, though?
We are now, but things are moving.
Right, but
So everybody, there's a sense that I'm not out in public like some of you, I guess, that people want to revote because they've changed their mind about closing the school.
no, they want to revote because the circumstances of our reality.
Yeah, but how do we know that? How do I know that?
Newspaper,
Newspaper, listen to,
yeah.
Um,
I don't
Senate
wanna get into
hearings.
a discussion here about it.
right,
We're
No,
just
but that's how
talking
you-
about like getting in.
And I think what,
you read, you,
well, I think what Jessica just said is critical, and I think that was a good question, a good answer, for those of us who are sitting on who are not following it day to day to day to day.
I am.
Is that why are we doing this? And the answer is not that we are going to respond to their changes, which they haven't figured out yet.
right,
But Jessica's point is for us to be prepared to act, should they do something quickly. Now, the idea of our Montpelier people doing something quickly strikes me as odd, but.
I don't know, they turned this last draft
That was
like
fast.
overnight.
Yeah.
I was like, I woke up and there it was, and it was in committee. I was
Well,
like,
And truthfully, if they do anything fast, it'll be bad. So we need to be prepared, and I concur with that.
So what do you wanna do? I wanna talk about this all night, personally.
Are we gonna,
I can make I'll make a motion. So I will make a motion that we, request of the school board to, that we request the school board to consider and ask, the town of Jamaica. Oh, do you want to say something?
Yes, it is.
But do you want to say it after I make the
Why don't you-
motion?
Yeah.
So, because we're gonna have
Then we'll be
discussion.
In discussion then.
So why is the school board bringing
We're
this
not in
up?
discussion.
I thought it was because you sent a letter to Bob Tebow.
I sent an email to Bob Tebow
Right.
asking him, how does it happen? Is there a way, you know, is
But
it,
it's not the
I
school
didn't know
board
that.
that is
I didn't know that.
requesting this.
no, they didn't request it again. No.
So you think that there is a chance that Jamaica will not be able to take the property back for $1 if things change with another district?
I think there needs to be a point of
Can
order.
I answer the question
There
she
needs
asked?
to be a point of order. You need to make a motion so we can have this discussion. This is outside of a motion.
She's in the
That's
middle of
what-
making a motion. I got half of it.
Right.
I know,
and
she was, and then-
Just because I
then she-
haven't made a motion doesn't mean we can't discuss the topic again.
Yeah, it does. If we're gonna take action on it, we should have a motion on the table.
Okay, I will make a motion. I make a motion that we approve requesting of the school board, the West River Unified Modified Education District to direct the town of Jamaica to warn, notice and warn a vote to close Jamaica Village School. Second. Thank you. Open for discussion.
Did you want to say direct or request?
What did I say? I said request.
You said direct.
Oh, I meant to, no, they direct us. So we request the board to
Okay.
direct the town.
All right.
Yeah.
That's what I was
So if
asking. Yeah.
I didn't say it that right, you wrote, okay, thank you. You had me in motion?
So it seems at the meeting at the school board meeting, that they were talking about, in the discussion with you, having the town of Jamaica own the property and the school district would pay for upkeep.
So we did not, I did not discuss that with the school board, did discuss it with the superintendent. Drew Hazelton, who's now the chair of the school board, called me about it, and we high level discussed, he wanted to understand, you know, what would a lease be like and how much it would cost, and I said, you know, that's getting into weeds, but, you know, threw it out there, there's a $26,000 annual budget. That's, you know, that's the line item that's carried by the school board now for Jamaica Village School.
I thought they
And-
just said $150,000 a year at the meeting.
You know what, I don't remember, I read the minutes, I don't remember seeing 150, but, you know.
I just feel like I'm getting conflicting statements. Drew Hazelton called me after the meeting, asking if I was on the committee to close the school, and I said, I don't know that there is a committee to close the school.
Okay, this is a lot of.
That's what I mean.
So, I
Wow,
don't know what's
Now it's in
going on. I was
discussion.
surprised to hear about it at the meeting, and And I think we should.
I was shocked that it was on the agenda. I didn't know it was on the agenda.
I
for that
think we
meeting.
should wait until we find out what the state is doing. There's a lot of stuff going on, and there was a vote 85 to 56 to keep the school open. The school is still there. If we can provide pre-K and maybe we can put a daycare in there with the school owning it, I don't know. I think there's so much happening right now. I think it's best to.
But we wouldn't, if we don't own the school, that's not up to us. We have no say in that. Only the district does. And it's not gonna be this district, right? It's gonna be some other district that is either 5 towns, 10 towns. There's either gonna be 5 districts, there might be 9 districts if you look at the different proposals. And so Jamaica will be 1 town in a much larger district. And it would be up to that district what goes on in the school. It would not, the town would have less weight then than it does now, because we have at least 2 votes on a smaller board. And the boards are gonna look different. I'm just saying that's, what I hear from people is that concerns people in terms of the school, the property.
But you're saying that the town would own it and that we would, the school would lease from us in order to keep the.
The district
The district.
would, to the extent the district directs that district-managed operations they want to have take place at Jamaica Village School, they would enter into a lease with the town of Jamaica, and that the terms of which would be negotiated. But if they.
Is that what the town wants to do, is to own a building and lease it out and be responsible for maintenance, or is the school district responsible for maintenance?
The school district would no longer be responsible for maintenance of the school. So any costs that would be covered by the school district would be part of negotiation with the school district as to what they pay to have this building. Because if, from the town's perspective, it's better to sell it, right? So from our perspective, we want to, I'm making this up. I'm not, if we were to sell it, but the school district wants to use the building, we would say to the school district, you want to use the building, we could get more money, we could cover our costs if we sold it. So you need to cover the full cost of maintenance that you would otherwise have paid if it were still owned by the district. So my reading of the last budget, like this year's budget, they're spending $26,000 for the school year to keep the building up and running and have their pre-K program in it. So that's kind of just a commercially, a logical, so that sounds like a perfect rental amount. It keeps the building maintenance covered, and, you school district get to use it. If instead we own it and the school district no longer wants to use it, which is possible, even for pre-K, then we as a town have control over what that building is used for. Do we want to make an investment in it? Do we want to get a grant? Do we want it to be a community center? Do we want to move the town office into it? Whatever it might be that we want for that property, or sell it and take into our coffers the proceeds of the purchase price.
And we also would have the responsibility for all upkeep.
For so long as the town is owning it, and we're not selling it, we're using it for something, it's true, it's our responsibility. Like all the buildings, it's not the only building that the town would own. We own several, and we budget it, and we figure out what it's being used for. We find grant money. It's a bigger building, but we could shut down part of it, only use part of it. But it's got a very valuable septic system in there now. It's well permitted. It's quite a beautiful property. It's being used for the bike activities. So to lose that control that's what I think should be something that the citizens of the town get to weigh in on.
I agree with that being.
Please.
I agree with your that initiative of taking control, so to speak, or being proactive.
Giving the option.
Being proactive.
Right.
I somehow, into like what Paul said, I mean, not that the state's acting slow or moving slowly or fast on this, but I believe we'll have quite a lot more facts in the next month, 2 months, that I can't imagine they're gonna vote on something, approve something that immediately redistricts and takes away the control of our current district. And that we could still ask for the vote in 2 months from now, we know a little bit more. But whether that knowledge is necessary to make it a valid vote right now, I don't know. I mean, I think we all I hate to say it, but I'm gonna say it, we all probably pretty much know it's never gonna be a school again. And so we need to be a little bit more proactive of what is the next thing.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So I kind of said both sides.
Yeah. I mean,
I didn't say my mind.
look, it could be something we consider again in 2 weeks, in 2 months, you know, it's,
I have a thought that's
oh,
kind
please.
of relevant, but not
Yeah.
really. I would say we should hire a new town clerk first, and then they could have their first election as an easier one. And it would be great training. That's my only suggestion.
Right.
Well, we're trying, right?
Right.
So,
Mainly I wanted to start the discussion, so,
but we don't wanna have this discussion every 2 weeks. I don't wanna have this every 2 weeks. There's a motion on the floor right now. Right?
yeah, I mean, I put it on the agenda, so obviously I'm comfortable voting on it now, but I am also, 1 vote of 5. So if folks wanna say, let's defer this to another meeting, let's defer it to another meeting. It's, you know, it takes a while. So if the board votes to bring this to the school board, it doesn't mean at the next school board they're gonna agree. Quite the opposite. I think they're gonna hash it around and there'll be more discussions on all of the topics that have been raised here very well and, you know, and more that we haven't
We can
covered.
still warn the meeting, we can still warn the vote.
No, we won't until the school board.
Right.
But let's say they come back to us and say, sure, go ahead, we can warn the vote for 3 months from now.
Oh,
So we
absolutely.
can
Yeah,
still-
yeah, there's a minimum mandatory warning
30 days.
period, but not,
Right.
yeah, I don't know that there's a maximum.
Yeah, 30 to 40.
Right, 34, but, 40,
To warn it, yeah.
so only as many as 40 days? Right. Okay, but I don't know that, I'm curious, I'd have to look back at the resolution that we got the last time from the school board. Then there was a deadline. They were trying to they wanted a decision to close the school by the time that they were voting on the last budget. So I don't know that we would get the same, you know, request from the board to warn them, you know, commence the warning period, so close. So I agree, we'd probably have more time.
And the board could say, no, we're not gonna direct it.
The board could say no, yeah.
So what are we gonna say now?
Andy, you can call the vote. Did you want to call the vote?
Not really.
I know, there's a lot in it.
No, I mean, we gotta vote on it, but,
I think it's very confusing at this point, and I don't even know what you would bring to the voters and to say to them at this point with so many unknowns. I would say wait until we find out what the state is doing, and
Yeah, we could even wait 2 weeks.
we may have, right?
okay, I will call the vote. If there's no, well, you gotta ask if there's any other discussion.
No, you can call the vote.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I call the
He's
vote.
calling vote. So all those in favor, please say aye.
I'm sorry,
Oh.
could you repeat that again? Sarah, could you?
Yes. Jessica made a motion to approve the requesting of the school board to consider and ask the town of Jamaica to notice and warn a vote to close Jamaica Village School, seconded by Kate.
So Andy's called the vote.
Okay.
And I,
Aye. I'm saying aye, in favor.
No.
No?
so it carries. It carries. I'm hearing, you know, there's definitely a lot of mixed thought here. So here's, so I'm gonna reach out to Drew and tell him the results of the vote. And I'm gonna ask anybody who's interested to please come to the next meeting, because I suspect Drew will add it to the agenda for the next meeting. He may not. He might push it off to the one after. Those meetings are monthly. But
The date just for.
it is June, I want to say 11th. Was it the 11th? The 9th? June 9th. And yes, it's June 9th. I don't think has an agenda been posted yet? No, I think it's like usually posted the week before.
There's still gonna be quite a lot of time. I mean, this happens and then this happens.
Oh, yeah,
next
there is.
meeting, and then the next,
Right,
we're still
right.
talking about
Right.
2 months from now.
Right, oh, absolutely, it's
So
just
we-
that,
We will know a lot, the
Right.
town will know a lot, the
Right.
residents will know a lot more.
right, by the time even a vote were,
If there
right,
was.
if there were a vote. So, the challenge with the school board is that their monthly meetings happen on the day of the select board. So, dare I make a motion that we, instead of having that meeting on the 9th, we have it on the 10th, on Tuesday, like we did tonight? And that way, anybody on the board here who wants to attend can go. Oh, forget it.
Well, that means two in a row that we moved it.
Right, I'm throwing it out there.
I would like to be at this school board meeting for sure, but,
So there would still be a quorum.
we can hold off.
Right, this vote passed, so whatever.
Say that again?
We can hold off on changing the next meeting's date.
It's our next meeting.
It is our next meeting.
I don't think we should change 2 Mondays in a row. I know one was a holiday, but isn't that too, well,
All right, well-
no,
Next meeting.
yeah. Because people, as a rule, pretty sure that it's, the first and fourth Monday. Second and fourth, I'm sorry. And if we keep moving it around.
How does everybody else feel? I mean, obviously, it's not, to have it on the 10th doesn't really work.
No.
It's your anniversary. Do you guys have a nice day?
I'm not gonna go to the school board meeting, so I can chair this meeting.
How do you feel, Greg?
I could go either way. So that's not helpful.
Right,
So
and Christina.
if we do change our
Well,
meeting, I can make the meeting.
Here's what I would say. Christina also wants to
I would
join
like-
with me.
I would think.
You would
we should-
want
Let's change.
Like to change it. So I'll make a
Not saying
motion.
let's change it, let's vote.
I'll make a motion that the next meeting be moved from the 9th to the 10th. The only thing that concerns me about this is if it's not put on the agenda. I'll call a special meeting. Let's leave this for now.
That's what I meant.
Well, address it with Drew. If he's going to put it on the agenda, I'll call a special meeting for us. Okay,
So
all
get
right.
rid of this motion?
So I'm withdrawing the motion.
Oh, we get all the rules.
All the rules.
Next meeting.
All
Motions to
the,
change
Robert's
the next
Rules of
date.
Order, yes. Okay, so thank you, everyone, really. It's a tough subject, and I really appreciate, and I'm sure everyone does, all the participation. So the next order of business is to review the transfer station hauling bids. So who's handling that one?
You can make the meeting again? Kate and I discussed, we received bids, we received 2 bids. Sort of, one was only a partial for all, Casella provided a comprehensive bid for all of our needs. Wyndham Solid Waste District provided a bid for just 2 of the components, one recycling and also then paper. Mattresses, and there's paper, so 3. There's quite a lot of not apples to apples comparatively between those 2 proposals and also between what Casella is charging us now and what they're proposing. So Kate and I would like, or I will propose, I'm gonna make a motion that we postpone the review until further review. We postpone the decision on these until our next.
More information.
On whatever day that next meeting.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's no other,
There was
Only
no.
Casella and
No one else
Casella,
does.
even though when I contacted different companies that were on our list, we had a bunch of them, some of them do not service Vermont.
Okay.
Or New Hampshire.
Okay.
And the others said, oh, I will tell our person who deals with that,
Right.
and thank you very much, we're interested, but then nothing.
Nothing came.
And the one from Casella didn't come until Thursday, and then it was a holiday, and, so it's not enough
And we still have, Casella's been for several years now, we haven't had it. So we're working.
Oh, I know.
So potentially we can get that, more stone, but so we're not gonna lose out, we're not like, trash isn't gonna be piling up.
Right.
All right.
So nothing lost.
Right, so you'll let me know if you want it on the next meeting.
Also, yes, is it possible to vote on the portion, like Wyndham Solid Waste is offering a lower price for the mattresses than.
Oh, to have different providers? I mean, I think the question is whether Casella would pick up the rest, you know what I mean? Do they insist on a critical mass of,
Okay, that'll be one thing.
Yeah, that would- yeah. yeah.
I don't know how many mattresses we get, but that's not a big portion of what they do.
But
No,
also the composting there was a separate thing for composting.
Mattresses.
Because in Brattleboro, they have this huge, wonderful new facility for composting, and so we'd love to send.
to love it, to send it there, right. Okay.
Someone one time left a huge mattress outside the gate.
Outside the gate?
Yeah, and it got soaked, and Keith had to come up with the loader to pick that thing up. So just, if you're gonna break out mattresses, you gotta remember, if they get wet, they weigh a ton. Literally, they weigh a ton.
All right, so I think we're all agreeing that's gonna be deferred to a later meeting, and you'll just, one or the other of you will let me know. Great. The next is to approve the Humane Society contract. Was that in the basket?
It should be, it said it's unchanged from last year. It's that one, I think Greg's got it with the pink on.
Oh.
Yep, that one.
This one?
Yep.
That looks pretty official.
All right, so I'll make a motion to approve the Humane Society contract, which is a continuation of terms from last year. Thank you. Any discussion on the contract? Seeing none, I'll call a vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Right.
We have
Great contract.
an overweight permit. Do you have that down there, Greg?
Oh, that's it.
I tried to have him
Thank you.
bounce them off. on
Thank
me,
you.
but
He didn't, he's,
Do you want to read this?
No, you did.
We have one overrate, request from Colton Enterprises. I will make a motion. Okay, reading service. No, I will make a motion to approve the overrate, permit for Colton Enterprises.
second. Any discussion on that? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All right, so Greg, do you wanna, you wanna just go to your substantive ads?
Sure.
Road sand.
In order of, yep, so actually, Keith has sought, a rate for our road sand for this coming fiscal year. The Derrick Excavating, I think it's excavating, has, proposed $27.50 a cubic yard, which is the same rate that they did last year. They will bring it here for that. The other bid received was from Hunter for $33 a cubic yard. So Sosimo did not make a bid, they're not taking on new contracts at this time. So I will make a motion to accept the bid from Derrick Enterprises at $27.50.
Second? Any discussion on that?
Just
See-
where are those guys, you know? No big deal.
No,
Tell me why.
I'm not 100% sure actually where they are. I mean, they're somewhere in Townsend, I mean, I don't know if they're.
Okay.
I don't know where they're located, sometimes the kids aren't in the same place where they're actually the contract.
All right.
All right, seeing no further discussion, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Construction on the transfer
Okay,
station.
so there was a little bit of confusion last week. We had a big deadline for construction work to retrofit some of the areas in the transfer station. So I'm gonna make a motion that we extend the deadline to June 9th, our next meeting, or, because there was a couple different versions of the RFP that had gone out with a couple different deadlines, and we were trying to move it forward and get a quicker decision. But that, anyhow, I don't know exactly how, but some of the, one of the versions snuck out there and people weren't aware that the deadline was last week. Good news is we do have some interest. We were worried because we hadn't received any bids. But since then, people have called saying that they were interested, thinking that the deadline was coming up.
Okay.
So I don't know if we need a motion on that, but.
So did Hunter submit a bid or?
He hasn't yet.
Oh, he hasn't yet, but he's expressed interest.
He had asked questions.
Okay.
And thinking that there was a bid, a site visit last week instead of the week
Right.
before.
And nobody showed up to the site.
Right, so do you need a motion to extend the
I don't know
bid
if
offer
I
period?
did do.
Cause what was the original date?
The original deadline was last Thursday, so the next deadline will be
9?
the 5th. So we asked again,
Oh,
so we wouldn't have similar problems to the Casella one, that we'd be able to review the bids,
Right,
prior to the.
prior. Well, I'll make a motion that we, amend the RFP to, provide that the due date for bids is June 5th.
okay.
Thank you. Any discussion?
So there's a party that's interested, needs more time, or is everybody?
No,
Everyone's gonna know that's-
everybody gets more time, so if there's anybody out there interested in bidding on this
Right.
work.
But how do they find that out?
It's gonna be
Well, don't
posted.
check the website, because it's scary.
So it has been posted
I'm
on.
gonna check the website.
The bids are due by June, May 5th.
I saw that too.
I just saw.
Nice. Okay, all right. That's how they're gonna find out, Andy.
Okay,
Any more questions?
that's a good question, wasn't
And
it?
we have reached out, it had run in the newspaper, but we've also reached out to some of the local contractors.
That's great.
So they get it firsthand that the dates are changing.
Okay, any more questions? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Alright,
All right.
next
Do you
one.
want me to do that one?
For the.
Yeah, the JPC? Yeah.
please.
So, I have received a letter from, where is it? It's from Siobhan, I'm in my wrong, McDermott, to the members of the select board, copying Brian Zeroff of the planning commission, that, being, a longtime part-time resident and now full-time resident with a deep love of the town of Jamaica. She's eager to support the community, as a volunteer to serve on the Jamaica Planning Commission, and thereby honor all of the other folks who volunteer their times tirelessly to support and drive the town forward, which I thought was a lovely note. Thank you. So I'm going to make a motion to approve adding Siobhan McDermott as a member of the Jamaica Planning Commission. Right? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Great.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Siobhan, for serving. And then
Okay.
bike and pedestrian scoping.
Yeah, so that was the last thing I wanted to put on. I had shared some information on this potential grant that we're seeking, and I wanted to get consensus that we're all in agreement with seeking the grant. It was brought up when Colin Bratton, who's the transportation coordinator with the regional commission, he and I were talking about some other potential grants in town, and also in the rewrite of our town plan, that this grant was available, potentially available, to fund a scoping study, which would look at the existing, we had said Depot Street, that had come up in the planning, to look at the existing bike, pedestrian, traffic flows, and this is also in anticipation of potentially something changing with the school, or even if it continues to be a school, but also with the new bridge, and trying to link some of our transportation modes. So it would be sidewalks, potentially bike paths. This is a study that gets down to the engineering level of, not literally design, but it would come forward with a pretty comprehensive design. The grants range from $40,000 to $60,000. There is a 20% town match. So this would look at, basically look at, enhancing the transportation aspects of foot, pedestrian, and car traffic. We picked Depot Street. I'm sure there's other places in town that could use some enhancements.
So it's just Depot Street, it's
They got
not,
looked at,
it's
got
not
picked
Village Center?
before. That Depot Street got picked before, to run 2 sidewalks, 1 on each side, crosswalks, lights down at the school.
But I don't believe there was any study actually done.
No, it kind of just stopped.
So there was no study, it was,
What's his name was doing it? Our assistant
For, oh, mine?
minister, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe this was part of this. I mean, so this
And
is
something happened, probably a water flood or something.
Oh, maybe.
I don't know.
maybe, yeah, the flood.
But it was pretty intense what you were talking about, what they were
So
talking
there's
about.
quite a lot of detail that goes into these, and what comes out of it is there's quite a lot of detail that goes into the grant request, but if we do receive the grant, we would put it out to bid to an engineering firm, so, a planning type company, to take a look at that area, and I understand it to be, like, it could be quite comprehensive,
Right.
and it's just foreseeing that we've got a lot of stuff happening down there, especially a new bridge within the next
Right,
3 to 5 years. There's always been quite a lot of foot traffic in that area anyways.
Right.
It's a small, narrow road, I mean, it's a.
Right. it's sort of, I would have thought for that spend, it would cover Water Street.
We did look at that too, yeah.
Yeah.
So what I'm kind of looking for, I'm meeting with Colin tomorrow to just do a
Okay.
walkthrough.
Okay,
Just taking it upon myself as the road commissioner, but looking as the traffic commissioner maybe, or at all types of roads, whether it's foot or bike. So I'm looking just for consensus that we would look to move forward, we want to move forward with this. If we do get the grant, it's a 2 to 3 year process before,
we have an actual
before
plan.
we're actually doing something and having a plan.
Right,
Same
So
time.
but we have a budgeting potential for that if we
Right.
wanna
So-
match that, if we get a
Right.
$40,000 bid,
Right.
$40,000 grant,
Right.
we'll get $8,000.
Where is that,
Exactly.
where's that grant? Where's that come from? The
It's,
40,000.
it's coming, I believe it's B-Tran,
Thought they were broke.
yeah, right, right.
I believe it is V-Trans.
Yeah, it is a V-Trans bike and pedestrian program. So it's up, they've allocated money here versus building bridges, I guess.
I don't know.
Right,
You guys want to pursue it, go ahead.
right.
Just so that'll fall in the same time as the bridge going in. That'd be a great time on Depot Street.
Right.
Opportunity, and who
Ultimately.
knows what comes out of the school,
Right.
it's an area and then there's potentially a new bridge, the Depot Street Bridge too, I mean, many years out.
Oh. From your Master God series.
Yeah, and let's look at Water Street.
I'm sorry, because I'm not getting my emails, otherwise here we need to chat. And I know it's a few minutes late, but, I thought there was a follow-up on the bridge presentation that was supposed to be tonight.
I did too.
It got pushed.
They're not ready. They weren't ready. No, that's okay.
No, I didn't
worries.
know either.
Okay.
Two meetings.
They came back late last week and just said that they would be rushed if they were gonna present tonight, so
They asked for a couple more.
they asked for
Yeah.
time.
I thought they were kind of rushing us when they were here the last time.
So they did give us, I mean, they.
What, they weren't?
Right. Oh, I agree with you.
They took what we said,
We were
and
like,
we want something different, we want something more
Right.
enhanced, and so they're.
Sorry, I didn't
working
mean to go
on
over the
that.
top.
No, that's,
Just like making
it's
sure.
No, we're now covering new ground and,
Okay, great.
yeah,
yeah,
so potentially,
Potentially on the.
it's on the June 9th again.
Right.
Maybe.
I guess, so, just to be concrete, so do you need something in terms of is this an update saying you're gonna talk to them more about what the grant
So this, I mean,
will produce, or?
I picked up by just wanting to get some consensus to move forward since it is a big commitment. Partly for the match of the grant, but also in theory, if we're whatever comes out of this
Right,
scoping study, it
right,
would be a big commitment again,
right.
whether it's building out the street or the sidewalks or
So
whatever.
I think it's hard.
What do we pay on the 40 grand, 4,000? How much?
No, 20%.
20% would be 8,000.
Yeah.
Okay, so 8 grand,
That's
Right,
my question.
okay.
that's the match,
It's a
yeah,
10%
yeah,
match.
yeah.
Right.
So here's I'm all for it, because I think, Depot Street and Water Street could definitely be more bike and pedestrian friendly. And it's been something that the town's been talking about for a long time. The only concern I have is if we could just get a little bit more detail on what we end up with at the end.
Right.
Like, is it something that we then is ready, we're then shovel ready as a town,
Right.
so eligible for larger grants?
That's exactly, I did ask Tom that today, but I didn't hear back.
You didn't hear back,
So
yeah,
the deadline for the grant application is July 11th.
okay.
So we do have.
So maybe we'll
come back
Right, next meeting, actually, we have 2 meetings in between, yeah,
So
okay.
just because I'm meeting with them tomorrow doesn't mean we're all in, we're submitting the
Right.
application. So
But I'm comfortable with you saying, it sounds like the board is interested in hearing more,
Okay,
so.
I'm interested in hearing more, but I'm not interested in doing it. Not at the same time as the bridge. And also what Jessica said, I want to know if there are 2 sidewalks coming down, are they going to cut into the left side of the
we
Depot
don't
Street?
know.
That's what I
The
mean.
application's not gonna tell you that. That's what
For
comes
the-
out.
The
of
application is to get a
scoping.
recommendation,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and even if we had a scoping study that says we're gonna put a 4-lane highway down there, we're gonna say no.
No, thanks for no thanks.
So, obviously, we
But we're still-
do
yeah.
that, but that's not what their intent is.
But we're still spending 8 grand no matter what they tell us.
Potentially,
Right.
depending on the size of the grant.
Right.
The scoping grant is 8,000.
No,
No, that's our match. for
Right.
this- For this scoping grant.
Right.
So the question that Jessica had is valid, and I will come back at our next meeting, to say, what do we get out of this?
right,
And also have a better understanding of, what is that, not only what we're getting as far as the plan, but what does 40,000 get us? So
Right. Is it
only
just
20,000
Depot Street?
Or is it 60?
Right,
If we add on water,
right,
does it become more?
right, right.
Those types of things.
Right. All right, thank you for doing that, Greg.
So we'll know more, so we're, so I picked up this consensus to continue investing.
So,
Yeah,
Or to continue investing.
yeah,
at least 4 of the 5.
4 of the 5.
All right, so that was the last, correct, Greg, of your items, or was there? Yeah, you sure?
Yeah.
Go on.
No, that's it.
That was-
Now, Christina, you were not here when we called for late additions. Was there anything that you wanted to add to the agenda tonight?
No.
Okay,
Thank you.
Archer.
Chrissy has.
Oh, hand up, Chrissy. Is Chrissy on
Hey
mute?
there.
Oh.
I just wanted to answer your question of what do you end up with at the end of a scoping study.
Ooh, goody. Thank you, Chrissy.
So you end up with a study. You're not shovel ready. You're not going to construction right away. You have a study that looks at what the alternatives are for whatever your question is. What if you want to look at how to improve pedestrian access on Depot Street, you're going to get a study that gives you the alternatives of what pedestrian access on Depot Street would look like. You get alignments, you get cost estimates, you get an evaluation of the available right-of-way. You'll get an evaluation of what the impacts are to private properties, to environmental features, the challenges. So all of that's included in the scoping study. And there's also a description of what funding sources you could use to proceed to the next step. Once you finish your scoping study, you would then, if the town wanted to proceed with one of the alternatives, and there are public meetings, there are 3 public meetings as part of a scoping study. And so there's plenty of public input, and the select board actually endorses an alternative that gets a little bit further developed, but again, you're not at the level of engineering drawings yet. If the town decides to proceed after that, you would then apply for another grant through the Bike PED program or the Transportation Alternatives program to proceed with final design and construction. Those are done together in a single grant. So the scoping study usually takes 9 to 12 months to finish. And then the design and construction process together can take 3 to 4 years is what V-Trans tells people. If you don't need any easements, it could happen faster, but it would come in 2 different steps. So the engineering plans wouldn't come until you applied for a second grant later.
That's super helpful.
Thank you.
And it, what that brings to mind also is, what is the role of the planning commission in this? Is this something that once the select board approves applying for the grant, is this something we hand to the planning commission and they complete the grant application? Do you work with them to do that?
Well, I've circled Brian in.
Oh, you did, okay.
So he's aware, but also, my understanding is that when the regional will put together the grant application.
Oh, okay.
Call him.
Okay. Oh, okay.
That's their job, to assist us with all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we hire them for.
Discuss
At the planning commission? Okay, great,
They're
great.
aware.
Thank you. Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chrissy, that was super helpful. Okay, so I'm gonna move on now to timesheets. So I will make a motion to approve the timesheets for the town office staff, the listers, the highway staff, and the transfer station. Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. The next order of business is to approve the pay orders, so I will make a motion to approve the pay orders. Thank you. Seeing no discussion, I will call the vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Public concerns.
I have a couple of things. July 5th is Tommy Fest. We're looking
Thank you.
for a volunteer, we're looking for volunteers, but one in particular to monitor the instrument distribution at the Tommy Fest. So if anyone would like to volunteer, let me know, or let Nancy Jean know.
What does that mean?
You would be in a booth and it would be keeping track of instruments that are being handed out or coming in at that time. People bring instruments into.
Right, log them in and then just record who they go to.
What's the time?
Oh, golly, I think it's like late morning until 5 or 6 or something like that.
And is the rain date for this day?
Probably.
I think so.
It's a fun event up Pikes Falls, 1 mile up, and
Right on the river.
lots of music.
Lots of music, food.
And lots of people receive instruments throughout the year, here and in Florida.
And you can donate.
Was one?
You can donate. Pikes Falls Chamber Music is coming back for their 13th year. They'll have concerts from August 5th to the 9th. In Grafton, the Jamaica Town Hall, and there'll be a garden party at my house also, which will be fun. JAMBA, Jamaica Area Mountain Bike Alliance, has trails open at the Ball Mountain Dam, and we're working on many more trails in town. We're working on kind of a huge network that will be exciting if we can pull it off. So we've got several property owners who are anxious for us to put trails on their property, and it will be over 1,000 acres of land. You know, we won't be going over the whole thing, but there will be trails and different things. Flowers are coming up down at the Wildflower Garden on Water Street. The Camassia, which is a new plant that we planted last year in memory of Patty and Jeff Dixon, are coming up. It's the first year, so you don't see them a whole lot, but it's a very deep, dark purple down there that is really pretty. Lots of bee balm and lots of flowers are starting to come up. Each year it'll just get better and better. Jamaica Historical Foundation is now open Tuesdays 1 to 3, Saturdays 10 to 1. We have lots of new displays. We've totally redone the building. And we have lots of new donations that have come in, so we're excited about that. And we seem to get new donations almost every week, so it's great. Jamaica Community Arts Council has many activities, yoga, exercise, music events, and whatnot. So check out the Facebook pages, Jamaica Community Arts Council, what's happening in Jamaica, Jamaica Vermont 05343. Cemeteries are looking great. Austin Meeks does the mowing, and he does an excellent job. So just so you know that. Boy Scouts went in and put flags up for Memorial Day. They do a great job. Andy's wife contacted me and said we were missing a couple, so I went down and filled those in. But if anybody finds any that are missing, let us know so we can piece them down.
Can I just ask about Memorial Day when the scouts do that? How would they know if the veteran, is it for any service person, or Memorial Day is someone who gave the ultimate sacrifice? How would they know where to put the flag? Because her dad wasn't killed in action. So do they know that, or they just put it on all of
I mean, my
them?
son's in the troop.
Okay.
And from what Jen, the leader, has said, it's for anyone who serves.
Okay,
It's not-
yeah, that'd be easier.
Right.
It's just that they're put up, just like the flags here in
Right.
Jamaica are put up by Memorial
Right.
Day.
You don't have to have done.
No, but Memorial Day is to honor.
Yeah, it is.
So I didn't know if they
Right.
had to get that technical.
Yeah.
It'd be a hard job.
They go on any veteran.
Right, that's great.
Yeah, it is, and I'm going to work on a project, there's a couple of kids who need community service for school to graduate. And I'm going to have them put markers, we'll have to get some markers, I think there's money in the cemetery fund to buy special markers that go with the flag holders. And so we're going to research that, and these kids will make sure that all the veterans have a flag holder. So that's
Very nice.
a project that's coming up, and they're volunteering to do that. You'll soon be hearing about the fundraising effort for the before World War I veteran memorial stone that's going in, and it'll be being installed pretty soon. And the flag looks great, Andy.
Flag looks great.
Thank
Thank you for all your work on that. That's fantastic.
And I think that's
There's-
pretty much, Jamaica Day, yes, it's right there. We're going to start having meetings every 2 weeks now, planning Jamaica Day, we're looking for more volunteers. Working on the parade and the Civil War reenactment folks who are coming. Anyways, August 16th, the Civil War reenactors will be here August 15th, 16th, and 17th. They've got all kinds of activities planned. I've warned you before that there will be gunfire, not real gunfire, and there will be cannons going off. Anyway, it's all coming along very nicely. But we need more help.
Can you just clarify for me, because I think I received an email from someone that I don't think I knew, asking for, like, if past vendors wanted to participate again?
Yes.
Can you just remind me, I just wasn't,
Derek,
I think it went into like my junk mail.
it's Derek Carlton from Brookline, who is working on the vendors.
Okay, so you're.
But you can let me know, that's
Okay.
fine.
Okay.
Or let Alice know, either way. And we have a couple of garden centers in Jamaica, and it's time to plant flowers, so please support our Jamaica garden centers in town.
Oh, and you can sign up for a CSA at Be Wellness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's see
Hey,
a second.
you're
And
the
by
community
severe.
supported agriculture.
Okay.
So, one other thing, I thought maybe you would, so there is the, at the town hall on June 14th, community
Yes.
building, stronger together.
Yes, there is that.
Yes.
I almost brought it up and then I wasn't, we don't necessarily have an agenda for that, but we are working on, we're hoping to have a speaker for that. So June
Okay.
14th at the town hall.
At the town hall
Is that a
too.
Little Kings activity?
It's a community act. We've had a couple of these, Laura Sibilia came and spoke, and we're working on other activities in town. Wednesdays, we're going to start having Nancy G, the Buzzards are going to be practicing on the Jamaica House porch. The store sells pizza, we're going to have kind of a potluck pizza lining up, bring a card table and a couple of chairs, and we're just going to continue making the table longer on Wednesdays.
Community building.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I was wondering because June 14th is the No King's Day.
Yeah.
What is the event?
Oh, it is, it's probably, that's in there also? Oh,
It's a community building, a Jamaica Community Arts Council is putting it on.
It's a
Right.
community.
the flyer says stronger together.
Stronger
It's-
Together.
Jamaica.
Right. But yes, it is on No King's Day, so it,
Is
you
that
know,
like a
democracy
protest?
is part of it.
We're not, this is not a political thing, we're trying to
Right.
build.
It says right here it
community
is.
in town.
So no King's protest.
It says that what Karen's talking about, that event is a No King's event?
No, but when you're mentioning.
No, I have the flyer, it says nothing about No
I was
Kings.
asking because it's the same date.
Right, yeah, this is the flyer.
We had a few dates of events, and this just happens to be one of them.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, we're not trying to get political in it.
No, we would
No.
have, we would have nothing to do with that.
Right.
Right?
What was that?
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, it looks like there's a little Jamaica Day crew here, so thank you so much.
There is, these are,
Yes,
we made a good
really
team.
appreciate it. Everybody's really excited. It's, you
Good.
know, wonderful. So thank you for your volunteering. Okay, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Is there no other? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
All right.